Hi, I'm Red from Training with Red.
And I'm Adrian of Adrian's Dog Training.
We're both professional dog trainers, and we wanted to make some videos to talk about things that everybody, including non-dog owners, should know. Today we're going to be talking about operant conditioning. Operant conditioning is a methodology for affecting the behavior of a subject through the use of reinforcers or aversives. Operant conditioning applies to any species, but when considering its use with canines, it's important to remember that efficacy is lost after just a few seconds, so an instant response to a given action is crucial. After this window of time, a dog will no longer make the association between their action and the handler's response.
Operant conditioning employs the use of a quadrant system to organize responses to given behaviors into categories: positive reinforcement, negative punishment, and positive punishment.
In the context of operant conditioning, the words positive and negative refer to the addition or removal of a stimulus rather than the pleasantness or usefulness of that stimulus. And the words reinforcement and punishment refer to the stimuli that make a dog more or less likely, respectively, to repeat a particular behavior.
Examples of positive reinforcement include giving food or treats, praise and affirmations, petting and pleasant contact, or playtime in response to a desired behavior. For example, when a dog is lured or cued to sit, the handler rewards them instantly with a treat and affirmation. The dog connects this reward with the behavior demonstrated. Modern research indicates that positive reinforcement is the most effective method of positively impacting your dog's behavior long term.
Examples of negative reinforcement include the removal of an unpleasant stimulus in response to a desired behavior, such as the loosening of a self-correction collar, also known as a prong collar, when the dog stops pulling on its lead, the end of physical manipulation, such as taking your hand off the dog's butt when it sits, the end of a shock administered by a shock collar when the dog performs a desired behavior, etc. I would like to note that we do not endorse the use of shock collars or the use of negative reinforcement in general.
Examples of negative punishment include the removal of pleasant stimuli. Appropriate examples include the removal of toys, play, treats, or attention. For example, pups often nip their owners for attention. This is a normal part of play between two dogs, but shouldn't be encouraged between the pup and its owner. In the event that a pup does nip its handler, they may briefly avoid looking at the dog and refuse to play or acknowledge its presence. The dog learns that nipping will cause playtime to end and be less likely to repeat the behavior.
Examples of positive punishment include the addition of an unpleasant stimulus in response to an undesired behavior, such as hitting, scolding, squirting or zapping with an electronic collar, or attempting to establish or maintain dominance over your dog or force them to submit.
This aspect of operant conditioning has been shown over decades to be the least effective method of positively influencing your dog's behavior over time. Hitting, scolding, squirting, zapping, or otherwise frightening, intimidating, or causing pain or discomfort to the dog will put it in an agitated or anxious state, not just for a few seconds, but anywhere from minutes to days after the stimulus is introduced. In this state, the dog is not focused on learning and is generally unable to retain whatever information its handler intended to teach.
Repeated use of positive punishments such as these will almost inevitably cause the dog to be in a constant state of anxiety, nearly always resulting in more undesirable or unpredictable behavior. The use of these techniques greatly increases the likelihood that a dog will bite or display defensive or aggressive behavior in the future. Hitting the dog is the best way to increase the odds that it will exhibit unpredictable or dangerous behavior. Your dog will not learn anything from being hit. You do not need to assert dominance over your dog or force it to submit. No amount of good will come from hitting your dog. It is animal abuse.
In summary, operant conditioning is a system used to influence patterns of behavior based on a quadrant system of positive reinforcement, negative punishment, and positive punishment.
Positive reinforcement is the addition of something pleasant, such as food, treats, play, or praise in response to a behavior you want repeated. Positive reinforcement in conjunction with appropriate negative punishment is the most effective means of positively influencing your dog's behavior long term.
Negative reinforcement is the removal of something unpleasant, such as releasing leash tension or ending the buzz of a shock collar, with the hopes that a given behavior will be repeated.
Negative punishment is the removal of something pleasant, such as attention or toys, with the aim of discouraging a given behavior.
Positive punishment is the introduction of an unpleasant stimulus, such as hitting or yelling, or buzzing or squirting or zapping with an electric collar, in hopes of discouraging a given behavior. This has been repeatedly and consistently demonstrated to be the least effective method of training your dog. Hitting your dog is not training. Your dog will not learn from being hit. Hitting your dog will make it more difficult to teach even through other methods. You do not need to assert dominance over your dog or force your dog to submit. No amount of good will come from hitting your dog. It is animal abuse and a violation of legal and ethical statutes.
Thank you for watching. Don't hit your dog.